All right, guys, welcome back to Bible Bites, where you get Bible truth line by line in context in a 5-minute lesson. All right, let's go. Now, we left off with Romans 7:13, and we were looking at how sin, through the motions of the law, being transported through the law, becomes exceedingly sinful, and God allows that so that we can start to identify sin for what it actually is. Okay, remember, sin deceives us. Okay, and not only that, but because the law is allowing sin to become exceedingly sinful, we start to realize that the law is not enough to save us. Got it? All right, let's keep going. Now, Romans 7:14. So we get this concrete truth statement now. The law is spiritual. So remember, Romans 2:29 told us our circumcision must be of the heart and spirit, right? The flesh, the physical, is never justified by the law, Romans 3:20. So in simple terms, the law justifies the spirit, not the body. So if Paul is carnal and then he's sold under sin, which contrasts with his physical body versus the spiritual law, we start to see then that sin is physical actions disguised to look like spiritual actions. Romans 7:15. Now, Paul begins to explain the plight of saved man. All right. So for that which I do, I allow not. Guys, this can get really confusing really fast. So stick with me. Okay. I love this part though, because once you get it, it's stuck forever. Okay. Look, for that which I do, I allow not. So we're going to lean heavy on sentence structure to work our way through these verses. Okay. So for that which I do, I allow not. So here Paul starts by saying he does not give consent for the actions that he's taking, the things that he's doing. He doesn't agree with them in his head. And then Paul gives the reason why he won't allow it. He says what he would do, he doesn't do. So what actions he hates doing, those are the actions he's actually doing. But remember, he has not given himself permission to do what he hates. So what is happening? Well, Romans 7:16, Paul says, well, if I do what I would not, then the law is good. So the previous verse says what Paul would not do is what he wants to do, indicating there's a disconnect between the mind and heart desire versus the body and flesh desires. Okay. So Paul is saying the good that I want to do, I don't do. And this good is the law, meaning the fact that Paul cannot do what the law says is good does not make the law evil. Paul fell short of the law, not the reverse. Got it? So Romans 7:17. All right. Interesting. Paul says it is sin that does the evil thing, not us. Now notice this. The verse begins with now, indicating a change of circumstance has occurred. Now then, it is no more I. So we're told the change before now Paul was the culprit. Remember, we've been talking about circumcision of the flesh from spirit, and we've established that sin lives in the flesh. So we're beginning to see that sin has not been destroyed. It has been separated from our spirit and our soul. So if sin occurs, it occurs in the flesh only. And if it occurs in the flesh, which we have been circumcised from, it is sin itself causing the motions by law, not your heart, spirit, soul, mind. I love that, man. Side note, I think you can still sin in the mind, as the mind is flesh. Our spirit must lead the mind and soul. Okay, so there's a caveat there. Also, salvation saves us from judgment, not from the motions created by sin. Golly. You know what? I'm going to pause there. let's hold on to that. We're going to continue on with Romans 7:18 because this section is a lot to unpack. But once you get it, like I said, it really helps strengthen your faith. You start to understand who you are as a person and what's really going on in this world and in this struggle that we have, this spiritual warfare. All right. So let's stop there. Let's pick up with Romans 7:18 next time and let's keep it cracking. Love you guys. This is Bible Bites and I am out.